Hello, 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 hello. How's everybody doing? It's Gus Tucker with Financial Freedom Fridays, and I wanted to just spend some time with you today, just having a conversation about what it's going to take to create this financial independence. I know we're in some crazy times, right? With inflation and everything that's going on in our society. I'm in the Chicago area, and I'm sure you heard about what went on in a suburb north of Chicago called Highland Park. And then, separate from that, in our city, 60 people of color were shot over that same weekend. So, we're in some really interesting times. So, I want to take some time just to have a conversation with you about uh, creating financial independence, especially in this environment, because you know our bills don't stop, do they? Um, and our needs to take care of our families don't stop, and our needs for the future, they don't stop. So I'm going to see. I don't think I can move this slide. So can you move this slide? There we go. So financial independence. We've talked about this. You can see this. Look, it's all about having enough money so that at some point in the future we don't have to work, and our assets are going to work for us. And we have to have a plan to do that. And that plan needs to start like yesterday, 20 years ago, when we were 18. And so part of what this is about, this conversation today is about, is legacy. So how many of you have people in your family that are like 10, 15 years old? What? Yeah, they need to start learning this stuff now. I know personally, I'm on the lookout and I'm finding 12 young black men between 15 and 25 years old, not outside of my own family, that I can begin teaching this stuff to. Because if we don't catch people and they slip through the cracks, we're going to get more people wielding guns and hurting other people if they don't have hope. They don't have a reason to live. And somehow they've got it wired in their mind that it's okay to take it from other people and hurt other people to get what you want. But if we teach the principles that we're learning here and these principles of life, we can make a difference. You see what I'm saying? This isn't just about money. This is about life. You feel me? Okay. So on the next slide, we look at, this is stuff, this is schoolwork. This is how I want you to look at it. This is schoolwork. Um, I don't know about you, but over my lifetime, I've had to reinvent myself. What do I mean? You need to learn new stuff so that you stay relevant, or as my kids will say, relevant. So you stay relevant, right? So you still matter. The way we stay financially viable is we keep creating value. That means we keep learning, we keep developing ourselves, our skills, so that we can create value. So, what this information that I'm providing here is about giving you information that's going to help you create value for yourself. Okay? This is not a game, this is life. So you can create value. Next slide. Get this book, read it. It's that simple. Get this book and read it. It's going to walk you through what I call grade 13. Like, everybody should at least go to high school, right? Would you guys agree with that? Maybe college isn't for everybody, and but high school at least is for everybody. And then some kind of training to learn a skill or something that's going to allow you to create value for your family needs to be learned. I think you guys would agree with that. How money works is one of those skills. Get this book, read it. It's an easy read. It's got some great information on it. We're going to skip this slide because we're going through the 7 money milestones. That's what we've been doing. So how do we create financial independence? I was thinking about this, and you have to develop habits that drive high financial standards. So what won't you tolerate going forward? At some point in your life, either with yourself or with other people, you drew a line in the sand and you said, you know what? That's it. Bashman, send me an email. Send me an email to the Financial Freedom Friday. We can talk about it. That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about it. I got 12 slots. That's my email. I got 12 slots. So that's what I believe God has said to me to do. And that's what I'm going to do. 12 people. I got 6 right now. I got 6 more. So what aren't you going to tolerate going forward in your own life, in our society? You're done. No more. No, not on my watch. Because if you tolerate it, it's going to stay in your life. Like I think it was Malcolm X says, "What you don't hate, you'll tolerate." What are you going to do to develop spiritually, mentally, and emotionally so you can handle what's going on in your life? It's a lot, right? But guess what? My belief system says that God has equipped me to deal with it. And if I can't deal with it, that means I'm relying on myself and not relying on Him. Does that make sense? Okay, so as it relates to your money, these are some simple things you can do. You got to set up some automatic decisions so you don't have to think about it. Money you give to your church or whatever you're supporting needs to be automatic. It needs to automatically come out to your account and go in there. The money you're saving, it needs to be automatic. So it happens every week, every month, however you get paid, it's automatic. What you're investing, it needs to be automatic so you don't have to think about it. And then the money that you're paying to reduce your debt needs to be automatic so you don't have to think about it. Now just think about this. If those 4 things were set up and automatic, the money you were giving, the money you were saving, the money you're investing, the money you're reducing debt, the priority things in your life would be already done, wouldn't they? What if you'd automatically set up since you were 18 years old to save some percentage of your money and it was automatic? How much money would you have now? You set these things up so they're automatic. Does that make sense? Somebody holler at a brother through the Facebook Messenger or something. Let me know you're out there, okay? So those are automatic decisions. Then you got to change your personal environment. Internally, what's going on inside your head? Okay? And and I'm doing the same thing. Violently attack false belief systems. Our whole life, people have been trying to get us to believe things, especially if you're a person of color. Our whole environment, is set up to deliver the message that you're less than. Don't buy it. Violently attack that belief system in a couple of areas. One, in the area of money, attack the belief systems you had in the past. You know, we joke around and say things like money don't grow on trees. We say things like I can't afford that. We joke around and say I'm broke. And we say these different things about money. You gotta attack those false belief systems. Okay? And then attack false belief systems about your ability to succeed. that somehow everybody else can succeed, but not you, because you don't have the right education from the right school. You're not the right color. You're not in the right network, whatever. No, no. So we're going to skip past this one and set goals by time frame. Okay. So when we're talking about what you don't hate, you'll tolerate, one of the things that you have to learn to hate is not hitting your goals. Have you guys ever had goals that you haven't hit? I believe one of the reasons we don't hit them is one, we don't want them bad enough. So that two, we don't do everything it takes to make it happen. So what do you want in the next 0 to 1 year, 1 to 5 years, 5+ years? What is it that you want? Like really? Not the approved goals by other people, but what do you really want for your life? How much is that going to cost? Cost it out. My wife and I are planning on moving to another city. We're picking out an area. We're going to find out how much the homes cost. We may go down there and rent for a year until we totally make sure we got it scoped out. But we're planning everything out. How much is it going to cost? When do you want to have this goal happen? And then how are you going to make these goals a reality? Okay, what are you going to do to change in your behavior, in your activities to make these goals happen? Because if you have a goal to do something different for yourself in the future, but you don't change your actions, it's not going to happen. It's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream. Okay. And then set up separate bank accounts to support each goal or strategy you have so you can see the money actually accumulating towards that goal. Does that make sense? So if you email me, I'll send you this form. It's a PDF fillable form. You can fill it in and start doing this. Okay. Next slide. There's some tools that we've talked about to help you but actually set goals for your future, right? At some point in the future, you may never retire, meaning stop working. I mean, you may continue to work your whole life. I plan to continue to work until I can't anymore. They have to shovel me into the ground. Why? Because I believe what I'm doing makes a difference for people, and I need to keep doing it as long as I physically can. Not for money, but for the value I'm creating in the lives of other people. Does that make sense? So at some point in the future, it's not about whether you want to work or not. I think you should keep working. You can do what you want to do. But how about stop working for money? But you stop working for money and you start working, as we call WFG, working for God. You are doing what you believe God wants you to do, regardless of the money. Okay? So what you want to do is say, how much do you want to have coming in every month, every year, however you think about it? And you set up a number. Let's say it's $60,000. Get your piece of paper out, write $60,000 down. Do you know how much money you need to have saved to just get the interest off that money so you can get 60,000? We like to use a number of 5%. So if I take a number times 5%, it'll yield me 60,000 in income. That's $1.2 million. $1.2 million by the time you need it to live on it. Or you got to create a business that'll make you $60,000 a year without you being involved in it. Okay? So $1.2 million. And let's say you want it at 65. The rule of 72 works right here. It says if you take an interest rate divided by 72, it takes you how many years it takes for your money to double. So let's use this 12%. It doubles every 6 years, right? So we're going to reverse engineer the number. So let's say you need $1.2 million at 65. If you take 6 years subtracted from that, that's at 59. So at 59, you would need $600,000. Take 6 years from that. At 53, you need 300,000. 6 years from that is 47, you need 150. At 41, you need 75. You see how you do that? And then you can look at, okay, where are you at? How much do you have saved right now? How much do you have saved right now? How much do you have saved right now? Okay. And you look at that and say, okay, I'm short. I got to catch up and then I got to get on track. So part of what we do in our planning with you is to figure out what we need to do to get on track in terms of with the money you already make and then your need to make more money. What do we need to do to leverage these tools, these concepts like compounding interest, the rule of 72 to get them work for you? Because either they're working for you or they're working against you. See, time is moving. And if we're not making the right moves to create the future we want for ourselves, time is working against us. Just like compound interest, if you have a credit card, it's working against you. It's taking your money away from you. If you have to pay higher interest rates for things because you've got bad credit, man, that compound interest is taking money away from you. Okay? So we have to spend the time to put the plan in place, to know what our numbers are. You got to know what your numbers are, okay? You got to know what your numbers are and how to work the system to make the numbers work for you. Okay, next slide. Now, the whole thing about investing, okay, if you see this, it looks like the bottom is cut off of this from what I'm looking at. But you see you got a car here. There we go. We got a car here and we got an engine. Some of the things that people get confused on is what's the car, what's the engine. You see this, investment vehicles are governed by the IRS. So the IRS has something, allows for something called an IRA. And there are different kinds of IRAs. There's a Roth IRA. There's a traditional IRA. The tax treatments on them are different. And you need to understand that because if you put money into a Roth IRA, it's after tax money. Then it grows without being taxed and you take it out without being taxed. Traditional IRA, you get a tax break. The money goes in, it grows without being taxed, but when you take it out, it's taxed. Now, if you work at a job and you're fortunate enough to have a 401k or stuff like that, now they're offering Roth 401ks versus regular 401ks. Which one should you choose? It depends. But here's what I want you to understand. The IRAs, the 401k plans, all those things are investment vehicles. These investments on this line are what you put inside the investment vehicle to grow your money. So a Roth IRA doesn't grow your money. But if your money's in a mutual fund inside the Roth IRA, then how that mutual fund performs inside the IRA is how you make your money. And the IRA and how it's set up just tells you how you're going to be taxed. So you got the investment vehicle on one hand, right? And then you got the investment on the other hand. You put those together and you got a financial tool that you can use. So what you have to do is match up the right investment engine that's going to drive your investments inside the right vehicle. And the reason you sit down with a financial professional is they can explain to you the pluses and minuses of each one of these things. Because what you should be putting your money in and what I should be putting my money in are different. They're based on a lot of factors. You need to sit down with somebody and put a plan together and begin to understand how these vehicles work, understand how these engines work. Well, the engines are the investments, and then the vehicles are the things you put the engine inside of. You need to understand how they work. So you need to get with somebody that can help you understand that. Does that make sense? And then automatically, Put your money in there every week, every month, so your stuff begins to grow. Does that make sense? And it has to be set up automatic. If you're thinking about it, you're going to say, oh man, something came up. I can't do that this month. I have to wait till next month. No, 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 not acceptable. Don't tolerate that with yourself. Automatic, okay? It's got to be automatic. Okay, next slide. Now, and this is the tax buckets. These are the way things are treated. All of those investment vehicles and the engines are subject to taxes. Either tax now, where the money is saved after tax, and then all your gains are taxed, like a checking account, savings account, things like that. Or you have money that's put in before you're taxed. It grows without being taxed. They take it out on the back end, like your 401k at your job. You know, when you take that money out at the end, you're going to get taxed on it. You're going to be 60, 70 years old taking money out of your 401k and getting taxed on it. Is that what you want? You need to plan for that, okay? And then there's after taxes, where you get taxed up front, it grows without being taxed, and then you take it out without being taxed, okay? And you need to understand how those different things are going to impact you when you're retiring. Does that make sense? Okay, next slide. Okay, now the 7 spheres of wealth. So here's the thing, and this is where this mentoring comes in and things like that. Look, all of you guys should be writing a book. The book may never be published to anybody, but it needs to be published to your loved ones. So you can explain to them how you successfully navigated your way through life. It says in the Bible, okay, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And most of the time, when people look at that, they think it's money. Well, money's a part of it, but it's not the whole thing. It says in 3 John 2, beloved, I wish that you would prosper even as your soul prospers. Prosperity is beyond money. It's your whole life. It's your lifestyle. So how about you leave your family that's coming up behind you, your children and your grandchildren, the benefit of your wisdom? Because if they have that and you leave them some money, they're more likely to have the money. That makes sense? So one is spiritual wealth. What does it profit a man and woman to gain the whole world and lose their soul? How'd you navigate through this world spiritually? What are your spiritual beliefs? Write them down. Write them down for yourself. Write them down for the people in your family. Write them down. Does that make sense? Write them down. Number 2, soulical wealth. What does that mean? Your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. Your mind, how you think. Your emotions, how you feel. And your will is your ability to make decisions. Because see, guys, wealth is an idea. Making money is an idea. How you manage how you think will manage how you are able to make money or not. Listen, it says in the Bible, in the book of Deuteronomy, God gave us the ability to make wealth. He doesn't just hand you money, he gives you the ability to make wealth. What does that mean? The ability to think, develop an idea, put that idea into practice and get paid, either as an employer, entrepreneur, or as an employee. Okay? So wealth is an idea. I work with a firm called the Dream Exchange. We're launching 2 Black-owned stock exchanges next year. I'm just throwing that out there. So I own my own company where I work with people on personal finances. And then I'm working with a company, which I will have an ownership interest in, that's launching 2 stock exchanges, Black-owned stock exchanges next year. And we have a YouTube channel called the Dream Exchange. And there are 2 videos out there called The Value of an Idea. You need to watch that because here's what I know. For most people, their job is not going to create enough income for them to live the lifestyle of their dreams, where you can live where you want to live, drive what you want to drive, do for your family what you want to do for them. You're going to need to make multiple streams of income. The income comes from an idea, either yours or somebody else's, that you run with and create value for people and make money. You really need to understand that value of an idea. Watch those two. It's a two-part webinar. So go to YouTube, Dream Exchange channel, and look at the value of an idea. Number three, physical, your health. You know, if you work in an office, like I do, every hour or so, I get up and I go for a walk. And walking around the buildings here is about 600 steps. So every hour or so, I go out and I walk those 600 steps. Walk those 600 steps. Look, what if you got billions of dollars and you don't have any health? Then you're going to spend your billions to try to get your health back. Start early. Don't let diabetes and other things get you. Your physical wealth is your health. Number four is relationships. You're only as wealthy as your relationships. How many of your friends can by themselves or with a phone call make something happen for you that you need to happen? If you lost your job, which one of your friends can make a phone call and get you another one? If you needed $50,000 right now, $10,000 right now, $5,000 right now, who could you call who could do that for you? Well, you might have the wrong friends. Which one of your friends could you call to get advice about something spiritual, about something emotional, about something relational? Who's got some wisdom to share with you where they could help your life be better, not just with money, but in other areas of your life? You might need some different friends. Your friends will also determine your wealth, financial wealth, and lifestyle wealth. Next slide. Influence. Make yourself more valuable. You're valuable from the position you're in and then from what you know and can do. Make yourself more valuable. Make yourself more valuable by what you know and what you can do. Make yourself more valuable. Number six, community wealth. Serve your community. Serve your community. Get involved. There's a gentleman, he just moved out of Chicago because of the violence. He owns a company. He's a multi-billionaire worth many billions of dollars. And he just gave a local pastor here $5 million for his nonprofit because this pastor is very outspoken. He's doing a lot in the community. He's doing a lot of good. So this guy, who's a white dude, came to the South Side of Chicago and gave his brother $5 million. Because he was out there making the community wealthy. You can read about it. Ken Griffin gave Corey Brooks $5 million. Look it up. And then generational wealth. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. You want to leave them information about like these 7 areas of wealth, how you develop them, and then how you develop the money. That's what you want to leave to your kids. Now, this is a repeat, kind of what we talked about last week, because that was a holiday weekend and y'all was out doing what y'all was doing. And I didn't get much feedback from you. But I want to hear from you about these 7 areas of wealth, okay? And so that's going to end it for this week, okay? And we're going to pick it up next week back to the practical things you need to be doing to put the wealth in place and to finish your financial plan I know you've been working on. If you have questions, email me. You got a phone number, call. You're not going to be able to say I didn't know or I didn't have access to the information. It's here for you if you take advantage of it. So you want to thank blackdoctor.org for making this kind of information available to you. And they do this in a lot of different areas of your health, emotional, your health, physical. They're keeping you aware of issues politically. Stay plugged in to what they're doing here at blackdoctor.org. It's a good place for you to be, to grow. All right? You guys take care. Bye-bye.